Back with you here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. We have got our pal Lou Merloni joins us every Wednesday on the program here on NESN. Lou, I just want to know how happy you are to be talking to us today as opposed to yesterday, because I'm just assuming that you were up for all 18 of those innings that the Dodgers and Blue Jays played. You wouldn't have wanted to get up this early after staying up till 3 a.m.
You know, the only 18-inning game I made was the one I called back in 18 when I was actually on the call and I was forced to do the entire 18 innings. No, I can't tell you how that game ended, but I did see it the next morning. It's just, I tried. I just couldn't do it.
It was a wild time for sure. We're going to talk plenty about the Red Sox and offseason chatter and rumblings and rumor mill and all that stuff. But let's just keep going with the World Series for a second, because when we talked to you last week, we're all in alignment. It's like it's a foregone conclusion. The Dodgers are going to roll. There's no chance this series gets to 7 games, may not get to 6 games. And yet here we are sitting at a best of 3. How surprised are you?
Yeah, I am. I'm surprised. I give the Blue Jays a ton of credit. You know, it's like they walked in with, Bo Bichette not playing for a month, and now it looks like they've lost Springer, and they still kind of go out. And to me, it's like watching them, and I'm sure a lot of organizations are watching them, and it's sort of like, hey, we got boppers at the top of the order, but how do we get more contact on the bottom of the order? And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing Jimenez, just with 2 strikes battling, getting a hit and driving in 2, making contact, something the Red Sox need to do a ton more of, especially in the bottom half. Your good hitters are on top, but you need to have at-bats at the bottom of the order. Guys like Scherzer throwing the ball well, Bieber, throwing the ball well. It's been impressive with how the Blue Jays have been going about it.
All right, Lou, let's talk turkey, because every time you and I talk, I tell you the same thing. I need a big burly man with a bat in this Red Sox lineup stat at first base. Pete Alonso, Kyle Schwarber, talk to me. How do I get Schwarber? I'm seeing a lot of reports that, hey, there's interest there. He loved his time in Boston. Boston's interested. I'm not seeing a lot of Pete Alonso chatter, which is okay. So let's lock in on Schwarbs. How do we make this happen, Lou? How does this happen?
Listen, I'd love to have Kyle Schwarber here. First off, not at first base. I don't need him tipping his cap again when he makes a simple play at first. But, the designated hitter, the power that he has, I just don't think Dave Dombrowski is going to let him go. That's not his MO. He likes stars. It's a perfect fit with Schwarber in Philadelphia. It's not a long-term deal. It's probably a 3-4 year deal, whatever it may be. We'll see. Maybe it gets to 5. I don't know. But I don't see him leaving Philly. If he does, then I could see him landing here. You're right, because I do think this would be option 2 for Kyle Schwarber. But I just don't see that happening, when it comes to Schwarber. Alonso's a different story. I don't pay attention to chatter. I just don't. There's reports out there. There's agents manipulating and influencing the media, talking about this team, that team. And sometimes the last couple of years I've heard too much about the Red Sox aren't interested at all in this guy, from people that actually are making decisions, only to read the following day that it's number 1 priority in their list. And I'm like, it's just not true. So it's I try to stay away from reports, but you've got the 2. I mean, Schwarber, obviously, and Alonso. He's the other guy. He's number 1 in my book.
Okay, Lou, let's stay with the Phillies for a second. I mean, there's a lot of drama brewing with this Bryce Harper thing. A lot of comments being made back and forth. If I'm Bryce, I'm like, okay, maybe I should be out of here. Do you think Bryce Harper could be in the mix? Can Bryce Harper enter the chat for the Red Sox, Lou?
It's funny because when you look at Harper, and it's hard to sit there and predict the future. I know everybody's like, I would do that in a heartbeat, right? Whatever it takes to get him. But just overall, the thought process of signing a guy for, say, 13 years, and then in year 6, I could potentially move him for what will eventually be the worst part of this contract.
Right.
That should get you to the Hall of Fame. And do you want to be the team that gets that guy, that star, because it's only 6 years in, and take the second half of a long-term contract that is not going to work out well? So as much as I'd look at Bryce Harper and say, I'd love to have him this year, I'd love to have him next year, I'd love to have him 2 years, 3 years, but I think it's still 7 or 8 left. And I don't think I want any part of that. As much as I like Bryce Harper, think about it. Do you want Mookie now? Do you want Mookie Betts now for the rest of that contract? I don't.
Yes, I do.
I watch him now. I think he's a slap hitter, good defender. You know what I mean? I don't. I don't want a bad contract the second half of it as much as I would love Bryce for the next 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Hey, Lou, a little something about playing defense. That seems to be the focus this offseason. Well, listen, it hasn't been for the Red Sox, so they're adding to it this year. What does it mean for Jarren Duran, right? The other outfielders are Gold Glove candidates, but does this philosophy impact Duran's future? And I guess what could they get back in return, and who could be the future left fielder for the Red Sox?
Yeah, I think Duran is an interesting one. He's just almost like polarizing, right? As far as people in Boston, because when you watch him play, it's like when he's going offensively, he gets everything going. Like he's the spark plug of this team. Defensively, it wasn't pretty out in left field. There's no question about it. Last year, he was a Gold Glove finalist. He was better in center field. To me, it's about who you're trading for, right? Like everybody keeps talking about the Twins. The Twins want absolutely nothing to do with Jarren Duran. Why would the Twins want 2 or 3 more years of Jarren Duran while they're in a complete rebuild? Now, the Cincinnati Reds would want him. The San Diego Padres would want him. I don't think the Marlins would want him. So it's like, if they're going to move Jarren Duran, he needs to go to a team that's looking for that bat that has so much pitching that they're willing to give it up because they're trying to still win, not rebuild. So then it turns into maybe you're dealing with the Twins and maybe you're dealing with the Marlins and they want an outfielder, a big league young outfielder, and maybe they're more interested in Abreu, even though you got to give up some defense. So it's that whole outfield dynamic is going to be interesting. It depends who the trade partner is. Duran is a talent. Like this year was a down year. The year before, do you have, other than Roman Anthony, can either one of those other two guys do what Jarren Duran did in 2024? And I'm not sure they can. So the whole thing is just interesting to see how this thing plays out. I think it's going to depend who the trade partner is.
But obviously, the other two guys, Abreu and Rafaela, I mean, they're the superior defenders. They may not have the offensive ceiling necessarily that Duran has, to your point, top 10 MVP vote the year before, an all-star, all of that. But doesn't he kind of feel like, for one reason or another, the odd man out? Like if somebody is going to move among those 4 guys, and I'll include Anthony, obviously, Duran's the one that's exiting. Is that, I don't know, because of fit? Is it because of inconsistency? Is it because of, maximize your return, Anthony aside? I mean, what's it come down to?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you hit on all of it. I think he and Abreu are still in the mix as far as guys that could be moved. But yeah, I mean, the defense of Abreu, the defense of Rafael, you can withstand some hot and cold stretches because of what they do defensively. It's just that, the one interesting thing actually about a month ago, whenever it was, when the Red Sox announced their coaching staffs, who's coming back, who's not coming back. The only person that didn't come back is Ben Rosenthal. And Ben is Jarren Duran's not personal hitting coach, but they live out in California together. They hit all winter together. And of the 3 big league hitting coaches, Rosie is like the one guy that kind of watches Duran, works with Duran. Like it's Duran's trust guy, right? And he's the only guy that was let go. So to me, that was kind of telling.
Lou, this is sort of a big picture question, but I'm just thinking of this offseason. Every team goes into the offseason saying, we got to have a good offseason here. I look at this Red Sox team this offseason. This has to be the most important offseason we've seen in many moons around here. Can you talk to me about the pressure that you think the front office could feel this offseason to make splashes? Now, granted, last offseason, they hit home runs quite literally. I mean, Crochet, you got 3 All-Stars last offseason. So I'm not saying they weren't great, but it was almost like, oh, wow, look at this. This worked out.
Well, they felt like the Red Sox again.
Yes. Yeah. Now it's that pressure, and that's a great point. Now we're back to, okay, it's an arms race, right, Lou? Can you talk about the pressure of this offseason specifically for this franchise now?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, hopefully next offseason will be even more important, right? And then next offseason, like this is where you want to go. Remember, the biggest disappointment to me was 2021. Like you moved everybody in 2020, and all of a sudden you had this little surprise year that got you to the Final Four, right? Got you to an ALCS, and you said, okay, build on that momentum. And the last 2 years after following 22, 23, they did nothing. And it was like, well, what happened? Well, the organization's not ready depth-wise. Oh, okay, well, it is now. So, yes, you're all right. You got to get, okay, you lost Bregman, you lost Giolito, as of probably right now. Okay, so if you got to bring back Bregman, and you got to bring back a guy with a 3.4 ERA to get even, then you got to go. Then you got to go. And then the trade deadline will be the most important trade deadline in the next 5 years. Like, it's time. Your organization is healthy. You have a ton of pitching. You have young players in the big leagues. Like, it's time to go and find your Chris Sale to go with David Price. Like it's like they did back in 16, 17. Like this is where we're at right now. So go get a number 2 for Crochet. It's time to bring back a Bregman who's been in the postseason and go get an Alonso. It's time to start taking steps to kind of sit there and seriously be World Series contenders.
Yo, Joe, man. Every time Lou talks, I catch the baseball Holy Ghost. I swear to God, every single time he's on this show or in person, me and Lou talk all the time, or I see him at the radio station. Every time he talks, I catch the baseball Holy Ghost.
Just Lou, I'll say this: watching the World Series, though, I know you just mentioned they have to get that second pitcher. Doesn't it hitting though? Like in the end, right?
Yeah.
Is hitting going to help the Blue Jays win the World Series? And if the Dodgers come back,
right,
isn't it going to be their hitting?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. And it's like you can go get, like for me, it's like the pitching staff. Like I'd go, you go get a guy like Joe Ryan, and let's say you bring back Giolito, or you go get a guy like Bieber. It's like our rotation is awesome. That's great. But as you pointed out, like you just sit around, next thing you know, here comes a 3-run homer, or your bottom of the order's making contact. That's how you're winning ball games. So this is why you say you bring back a guy like Bregman. Hopefully he can stay healthy and build off last year. Roman Anthony, I think, is an absolute star, but you need another dude. You can't just bring those two back and say, okay, everyone else is going to improve, and I'm glad that Breslow said he can't just sit back and hope everybody improves. I think Theo Epstein was the first one to say it back in like the mid-2000s. One of the mistakes I made as a young GM was just expecting everyone to come back and be better. That you can't do that. You can't expect, Rafaela to be a 280 hitter or Abreu to strike out less and pop 35. Like you can't expect Casas to come back and be healthy. Like you got to go out and build a baseball team. Yep. You got to go out and add some thump to this lineup and then continue to work on those guys and try to get them to be better hitters. So, offensively, I'm with you. Like there's a lot to do here if you're the Boston Red Sox, as good as you feel about where this thing is headed.
So, look, fans, us, you, we've all got opinions. You gave us an impassioned speech on what the Red Sox need to do. But like you, and you said this before, I don't really care about chatter either. I don't care about the rumor mill and the hot stove and all that stuff. I do care about people who know things, and you are certainly a hell of a lot more connected than we are to people in baseball ops and that front office and scouts and all, just people within the organization from your time with them, around them, on the call, all of it. Give us something. Take us behind the scenes. What are you hearing in terms of priority internally?
Well, I do think it's that number 2 starter. I know they love Joe Ryan. And they absolutely love the metrics, everything behind them. There's numbers under the hood. Like there's certain numbers, and all these guys fit it last year. Crochet, Chapman, Justin Wilson. It's called swinging strike percentage. It's kind of nerdy, but basically it's just how many swings and misses do I get in the strike zone? Not out of the zone. I'm throwing strikes. How many swings and misses? Those 3 guys they picked up have been elite. A guy like Joe Ryan is in that category. Dylan Cease is in that category. So I think it's a number 2. They feel like they got enough depth behind it, but they know they need to hit homers. They absolutely know they have to hit home runs. So what they do as far as that, I don't know if Alonso is real. It 100% should be. I know they want to move this thing forward and actually start contending and get to a postseason and actually have a home game at Fenway in the playoffs. Because as much as you made the playoffs this year, it didn't feel like it because you never came back to Fenway Park. You got to get a home game. So this was just a first step in hopefully what is improvement for the next 4 or 5 years.
Lou, you preaching again, man. Look, I've been here 3 years. This was the first time since I've been in town, Lou, that the Sox made the playoffs, and I couldn't even experience it at Fenway. So yet again,
you were there the night they clinched, though.
I was there the night they clinched, which felt great. It felt great, but it wasn't a playoff game. Wasn't a playoff.
It's your fault. It's on you. You better hurry up and turn it around. Do something different.
I'm trying, Lou. All right, look, I hate to do this, man, but damn it, we were both wrong. We both said Dodgers in 3. Yeah. We look up, and here are the Blue Jays. Vlad Jr.
You got 3 chances to be right.
I mean, listen, Vlad Jr., this dude is a dog to the next level. He's got rabies. He's got so much dog in him. So now I'm not going to panic here, Lou. I'm going to go Dodgers in 6. I'm sticking to it. We were wrong about the sweep, but here we are. I'm still rolling with the Dodgers in 6. Where are you now? Updated prediction.
I'm actually going to go 7 with it, though. Like I'm watching this Toronto team, and it's like there's just something there. I respect them. I respect that coaching staff. These guys grind it out, and it's like I said, Ernie Clement. Lucas. Like these guys that are just getting it done. Jimenez, like they're making contact. I'd give them one more game. I still think it's the Dodgers. I still think it's the Dodgers. It's just they're just that good.
Yep.
But I love the fact that Toronto's taking them to the tilt.
Lou, we got to let you go, but 30 seconds real quick. Aroldis Chapman made headlines. You guys talked about it yesterday, saying, he was asked about would he ever return to the Yankees. He basically said, over my dead body.
Literally.
I would retire on the spot.
Yep.
My question for you is there ever a team that you felt that way about?
Ooh.
Well, look, it's funny. In 2003, I was with San Diego, and I got traded back to Boston. And Kevin Towers called me, and he said, I'm trading you back. You're going to Fenway Park this weekend. I'm like, wow, back to Boston. He's like, not sure. I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, they're playing the Yankees, and Cashman's trying to get you too. They need a utility player. And I was like, KT, you cannot send me back to Fenway Park as a member of the New York Yankees. Like, you cannot do that to me. I can't do that. And he just started laughing, and he's just like, no, I'm going to end up sending you to Boston. But I'm just trying to get a better prospect. I don't think the prospect ever got an A-ball, but that's okay. But yeah, it would have been weird playing for the Yankees. But here's the thing. When I was playing, I would have taken a job. When you're like
That's
38,
right.
When you're 38 years old and you've already played in the league for 46 years and you're Chapman, you can decide where you want to retire or not, right?
That's right.
That's right. Lou Merloni, good friend of the program here. Of course, you can catch him all the time on NESN and every Wednesday here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Lou, thank you so much.
All right, good seeing you guys. Enjoy.